such as the salamanders and the newts. The first family, Sirenidae, species is Siren intermedia, and these will have external gills, and they'll only have 4 limbs. They won't have any limbs in the back. So as you can see, they just almost have like more of a fin, like an aquatic, where they spend their whole life in water. But one way to think about it is a siren is another name for like a mermaid. Mermaid don't have feet, so they only have 4 limbs. And they also have really reduced eyes, just tiny little spots, so they can't see really well. The next in the family, Amphibianidae, Amphiuma tridactylum, also known as the conger eel, and these are very eel-like in appearance. And he'll have really tiny legs compared to the rest of his body, but he does have 4. Also, he has really reduced eyes. They get their name from looking eel-like, as you can see. And also, they have, I think, 3 toes on each foot is where they tridactylum comes from. So that's one way to identify it. Next in the family, Ambystomatidae, is Ambystoma tigrinum, or the tiger salamander. And this one is actually a juvenile of the species. He still has external gills. Some adults may possess external gills, but most of them grow out of them and they disappear. He's real kind of easily distinguished from the other ones by his coloration pattern. He's real light colored with these darker stripes all over him. Also, he has 4 legs as well, and I think it's 5 on the back foot and 4 toes on the front. So 5 toes on the back and 4 toes on the front. Next is the family Proteinae, Necturus, maculosus, or the common mud puppy. And you'll actually sometimes see these being used for bait. These have external gills, and they have them throughout their life. They also have 4 limbs, and he looks very similar to this tiger salamander, but it's real dark. He doesn't have the light coloration to him at all. And he also has really reduced eyes. And another way to tell these two apart is the hind legs on these will only have 4 toes instead of 5, like the tiger salamander. So, in order to prevent those from getting mixed up.
Okay, so the tiger has 5, and then
So, next is the family Salamandridae, species Notothalmus iridescens, or the eastern newt. And these will tend to have a little bit rougher skin than the other salamanders. He also has a bunch of tiny little black dots all over his body, and the larval stage and the adult stage will be aquatic, but the juvenile stage, they'll be terrestrial. And I've actually found some of these before, like if you're moving dirt and stuff, they'll be near water. They'll be in a real moist environment, and they're bright orange, and they're alive if you find them. But he's pretty, if you see all the little tiny black spots, that pretty well distinguishes him from the others. And he doesn't have the external gills.
okay, so that's that one.
And then the last of the salamanders and newts is the family Plectrodontidae. You're seeing partridge more salamander, and he's slender, slim. He also possesses two dark lines that run laterally down his body. You can see him if you look up close, which you'll be able to see later. And also, each of his toes have four. Well, each of his legs have four toes, which is where he gets his name from. But he's easily distinguishable by how slender he is.
Skinny. Estoy tomando.
Next, moving on to the order Endura, which is claws and toes. First family is Scaphiopotidae, Scaphiophis pucci. And the easiest way to identify him, which is where he gets his common name from too, Couch's spadefoot toad. They have these little tubercles on their back legs. They're black, and they use these like spades for digging. They'll dig little holes with them. He also tends to have rougher skin and a real short, plump body. The next family is Bufonidae. These will all have real warty skin, and they also have a parotid gland, which actually gives off a toxin to keep away predators, and it'll be right here behind the eye. But they have real, as you can see, the warty skin, and they'll also possess two tubercles on their back feet. They're not black like this one. This one is a little bit harder. These are just more firm, and they use these for digging as well.
Aren't those the normal ones that you catch on the road regularly?
I think so, yeah.
Like if you squish them, they pee on you and stuff.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
What did he say was behind its eye? What did he say was behind its eye?
I think it's parotid gland. I think in your lab manual it says parotid, but I think it may be spelled wrong. I'm not sure. But, does it say? Okay. I know, like at the, because I was confused, there is parotid in the back, like under the diagram. Next is the family Hylidae, and the first one is the northern cricket frog, or Apis crepitans, and the easiest way to distinguish it from the other two species in the family is that it doesn't have any toe pads on its feet. The other two climb more, and so they'll have like these discs at the end of their toes. This one doesn't. Other than that, he's really small. He's a little bit slimmer and kind of darker coloration. Next is Hyla cinerea. This is the green tree frog, and you'll see these around here. I used to play with them when I was little. They're bright green when they're alive, and they have these two lighter colored lines running down the sides of their bodies. And if you look at their toes, they'll have the little flat disc, which they use more when they're climbing. But you'll be able to see those more up close. And then the last one in the family Hylidae, the Hyla versicolor. We won't have the Hyla chrysochelys. We don't have a specimen, but another reason is you can't tell the two apart. The only difference is one is tetraploid and the other one's a diploid. So if you look at them, they're basically indistinguishable. But they're called this one's called the gray tree frog, and he has a real mottled pattern coloration to him. You'll be able to see it, a lot of darker spots and in lighter areas. And they'll also have the flat disc-like toe pads at the end of their toes. And I think that's it for him. Moving on to the family Microhylidae, Gastropherian Gastrophyrinae olivacea. These little guys, I actually have seen a couple of these are in here too. The Great Plains narrowmouth toad. They have a real short, plump body and a triangular shaped head. If you look at them, up close, they also have this little fold of skin right on top of their head. It's kind of hard to see. You have to look close. But that triangular shaped head will be what really sets him apart. He looks kind of different shaped than most of the other ones. And then next in the family Ranidae, we didn't have the specimen that's in the manual, but we do have Lithobates, and it's going to be Sphenocephalus, Sphenocephalus. So, and I can,
Write that down.
yeah, I can, yeah, you can write it on the, yeah, that's the species name. The genus is still Lithobates. So,
What is the common name?
the common name is the southern leopard frog. And so this will actually be, this is the same family where bullfrogs are in. But you can see they have a really distinct coloration pattern. They'll also have really long hind limbs, which are used for jumping. And they spend a lot more time in the water, so they'll have more webbed feet. They also have these two dorsolateral folds coming down the sides of their body, look like lines. And so they're fairly easily distinguishable from the rest of the frogs. Sphenocephalus. Go with Lithobates.
U.S.
Yeah, because that's what we're just going with what was in the manual. I'm not a herps person, so I don't know all the name changes. But the other guy is, so he said we'll just go with the Latin manual. You get into the order Reptilia. I mean the class Reptilia. And this is the order Crocodilia, family Alligatoridae, alligator Mississippianus, or the American alligator. He's pretty easily distinguishable from the rest of the specimens here. But as you can see, he has the bony scutes running down his body with his tail. And they're also designed to where they're like the opening for like their esophagus and their lungs is separate, so they can actually eat underwater without having to worry about air getting in. But he's pretty self-explanatory.
Question: do you know what's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
Actually, I do have it written down. The main difference is that, or between the families Alligatoridae and the Crocodilidae, is that the Crocodilidae, the fourth bottom tooth on either side sits outside the upper jaw when shut, and alligators don't show any teeth when their mouth is shut.
Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, you won't need to know that for the test because we don't have any crocodiles. It is a fun fact. Easy way to tell them apart.
Yeah, like they used to tell me to count the spines. I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna have enough time to actually like
Yeah, let's find them
count
out
the
there.
spines.
Yeah. Next is the order Testudines, which are the tortoises and turtles. The first one is in the family Chelitridae, Macroclimes timinckii, and this is the alligator snapping turtle. Unfortunately, we don't have a really big one, but he's pretty distinguished by he has a real spiny, rigid shell, and he has a bunch of spines on his head and tail. He also has his hooked, almost like a little beak at the end. And what they'll do is they'll sit. If you didn't know, they'll sit their mouth open, their tongue looks like a worm,
Okay.
and they'll wait for the fish to come.
Do they retain that tail with adulthood?
Yeah, but it's not that long. It kind of gets stubbier because I've seen adults and like the tail looks like that big.
So the tail stays the same size?
I guess, yeah. I don't. Is that, now that you mentioned that, because all the bigger ones I've seen, they tend to have like a smaller, fatter tail. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones I've seen have.
Yeah, see, I love those because they're so different.
It's
Next
a sea turtle.
is the family Chelonidae, which includes all the sea turtles except for the leatherback. This one is Lepidochelys kempii, or the Kemp's Ridley sea turtle. And as you can see, all the limbs have been modified to where they're real flat and smooth. They're modified for swimming since they spend almost their entire life in water. They also have this ridge running down the back. Let's see. Yeah. And then moving on, because that's pretty well all there is to tell about him. The rest of it's all about them being caught in trawls and stuff. That's why they're endangered, because they're probably getting caught in like fishing trawls and stuff like that. So there's been a large effort to try to control that. So then next you have family Dermochelidae, which the species Dermochelys coriacea is the leatherback sea turtle. And he is easily distinguished from the other one because his shell is like soft and leathery. He also has really huge forelimbs, as you can see, they're like flippers. And these will grow to be huge, like they're just their carapace length or their shell length can be greater than 5 foot. So they get really big.
Those are the turtles that were on Finding Nemo, right?
I think those are.
Those are?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I know it's a type of sea turtle with a harder shell. It wasn't the leatherbacks that I think.
Okay.
Then next is the family Kinosternidae, the mud and musk turtles. And this is the Kinosternum flavescens, or the yellow mud turtle. And these are fairly easily distinguished. They have an egg-shaped shell. It's real smooth. And if you look at it from the top, it's kind of shaped like an egg. Also, he'll have barbels, real small barbels underneath his chin. If you look close enough, you can see them. And he also has musk glands, but you can't see them. They're along the bridge of the shell right here. But that'll be.
Is that the only species with such a really long?
No, this one just happened to have his neck out whenever he died.
He didn't know
Whenever he was preserved, I guess. Yeah, because actually most turtles have really long necks and they just keep them. Next family, Amphibians. We're only going to cover the Terrapin ornata, the Reptiles. We didn't have that species, so we cut that one out. So the Terrapin ornata is the ornate box turtle. And he'll be a little bit tougher to get out of here. He's kind of a tight fit. And he's a little bit easier to distinguish from him because his shell, which gives him the name ornate, is real. Has all these little colorful sets on it. And it's more colorful, like black. And he has all these spots all over his head and his arms. These will spend most of their lives terrestrially, so their legs are a little bit like sturdier, more elephant-like, rougher, and they also have sharper claws. Also, the males will have a concave plastron, so like right here it curves up. And so that's one way to tell it apart. Then next is the Trionychidae, or the soft-shell turtles, and the species is Apelone spinifera, the spiny soft-shell turtle. And these are kind of like the leatherback. They have a real soft shell, which is where they get their name from. And they have real webbed feet. They're often found in rivers and stuff. A lot of times they'll get stuck on fishing pole or something like that, and then they're a pain to get off because they can bite and scratch you. But they also have a real narrow pointed rostrum, or nose area, so that's one way to tell it apart. And then the last of the order Testudinae is family Testudinae. Anyway, this is